Season 1 of Killing Eve follows MI5 officer Eve Polastri, who begins investigating a highly prolific assassin that had left a trail of murders across several countries. Eve believes the assassin to be a woman, an idea that is mocked by her superiors. When a witness to one of the assassinations is murdered, Eve and her boss Bill are fired by their boss at MI5, Frank Haleton. The head of MI6, Carolyn Martens, recruits Eve for an off-the-books mission to track down the mysterious assassin. Eve is able to recruit her own team for the mission and brings on board her old boss and friend Bill, alongside her assistant Elena. Carolyn then places her hacker son Kenny on the team. Eve becomes obsessed with catching the assassin, which puts a strain on her relationship with her husband Niko. The mysterious assassin is a young woman named Villanelle, real name Oksana, who possesses both cold-blooded brutality and a childlike naivete. Her assassin handler is Konstantin, who looks after her and relays to Villanelle her targets. As Eve's team closes in on catching Villanelle, the assassin lures Bill to a nightclub where she murders him. Konstantin, angry at Villanelle for killing the agent, punishes her by sending her on her next assignment with two other assassins, Nadia and Diego. Their target, MI5 agent Frank Haleton, who was actually a double agent for Villanelle and Konstantin's mysterious employers. Eve and Carolyn try to protect Frank from the assassination attempt, and he confesses to them that he was being paid off by a mysterious group known as the 12, who used Villanelle's assassinations to destabilize and cause chaos that could be used to their advantage. Villanelle manages to sneak into Frank's safe house to kill him, and even tricks Nadia into killing Diego before attempting to kill Nadia herself. Unfortunately for Villanelle, Nadia survives the attempt and is sent to a Russian prison. Eve and Carolyn arrive at the prison to question Nadia, which is allowed due to Carolyn's history with two Russian intelligence officers, one of which is revealed to be Konstantin. Before Eve and Carolyn can secure a deal with Nadia to help them bring down Villanelle and the 12, Villanelle kills Nadia, having been sent undercover into prison by Konstantin to tie up loose ends. Konstantin then abandons Villanelle in prison to serve out her full sentence. Eve grows suspicious of Carolyn's connection to Konstantin and has Kenny help her uncover the history between the two. First, they discover security camera footage of Carolyn meeting with Villanelle at the Russian prison before the Nadia assassination, and then Kenny discovers and turns over to Eve a series of love letters written between Carolyn and Konstantin. Villanelle's then broken out of prison by the 12 and given her next target, Konstantin. Konstantin turns to Eve and Carolyn for help, but Villanelle ends up shooting him in the stomach, a wound Carolyn later confirms he died from. Carolyn then fires Eve from MI6, but Eve independently tracks Villanelle to her apartment, where the two finally have a confrontation alone. The pair confess their obsession with each other, which seems to go much further than a simple hunter and prey. Despite this strong connection between the two, Eve stabs Villanelle in the stomach before the assassin flees. In season 2 of Killing Eve, Eve Polastri goes back to working with Carolyn at MI6, but she has serious suspicions about her boss's loyalties. Her new team includes Kenny, Jess, and Hugo, and they are tasked with tracking a new female assassin known as the Ghost. While leading the investigation on the new assassin, Eve is still obsessed with finding Villanelle. This continues to drive a wedge in her relationship with Niko, who eventually moves out of their home. Kenny, concerned for his friend and colleague, also voices his thoughts on Eve's obsession with Villanelle and is subsequently fired. Villanelle, meanwhile, recovers from her knife wound and returns to work for the 12 under her new handler Raymond, who she detests. Upon learning that the 12 are impressed with the Ghost assassination skills and that Eve is on the case, Villanelle begins to feel jealous and replaceable and begins trying to reinsert herself into Eve's life. She even has several confrontations with Niko, eventually attacking him and killing his potential new love interest Gemma. Villanelle eventually ditches Raymond to team up with the very much alive and forgiving Konstantin as partners in a new independent contract killing business. When Eve's team catches the Ghost and needs help making the assassin give up information, Eve decides the best person for the job was Villanelle. She places a hit on herself to draw Villanelle out from hiding, and the two finally reunite for another sexually charged meeting. Villanelle and Konstantin are then brought in to assist MI6 in their case against the Ghost. Villanelle is able to force the Ghost to give up information, revealing the assassin was hired by tech CEO Aaron Peel, who had developed some sort of secret weapon that the 12 wanted to get their hands on. And so Villanelle and Konstantin are brought on board to help Eve and MI6 uncover the truth of this weapon and prevent the 12 from getting their hands on it. Villanelle goes undercover and begins dating Aaron Peel, who invites her on a trip to Rome. Eve and her team follow Villanelle and Aaron to Rome to continue their investigation. They discover that Aaron's weapon is actually a device that could tell you every little secret about anyone. As the investigation continues and the team get closer to taking down Aaron Peel, Eve and Villanelle's relationship grows even more intimate, with Eve having sex with Hugo while Villanelle talks to her through an earpiece. But the mission goes completely awry the next morning. Villanelle discovers that not only does Aaron have a history of murdering his female companions, but his next potential buyer also happens to be Raymond. Meanwhile, Eve and Hugo are attacked, with Hugo getting shot in the stomach. Eve leaves a bleeding Hugo behind to rush to Villanelle's aid, but the assassin seems to have everything under control, killing Aaron herself. Angry, Eve returns to her hotel room to find Hugo missing and the entire place scrubbed clean. Carolyn arrives to reveal to Eve that this was always the plan and that Eve and Villanelle had been manipulated to ensure this result. Similarly, Villanelle is visited by Konstantin, who was working with Carolyn for the same means. Both women turn away from their bosses to be with each other, but there was one problem left to deal with: Raymond. Raymond attacks Villanelle and Eve is forced to kill him with an axe. As Eve and Villanelle begin to run away together, Eve realizes that Villanelle had a gun and could have killed Raymond herself. Instead, Villanelle wanted Eve to kill Raymond to see how it felt. And now, feeling in love, Villanelle wanted to run off to live happily ever after with Eve. Eve, finally realizing how much of a dangerous wildcard Villanelle was, rejects the assassin. Feeling hurt and betrayed, Villanelle shoots Eve and leaves her for dead. In season 3 of Killing Eve, Villanelle is trying to move on with her life and trying to fill the void left by Eve. During her wedding to her replacement love interest, Villanelle is paid a visit by her former assassin trainer Dasha, who wants to bring Villanelle back into working for the 12. Villanelle's only condition is that she wants to be made a keeper, a position in the organization that outranked the handler title of Dasha and Konstantin. The 12 agree to her terms, but Villanelle would have to prove herself back out in the field. And so Villanelle ditches her new bride and returns to work. Meanwhile, Eve Polastri has survived being shot by Villanelle and was now working in a Korean restaurant. Kenny has become disillusioned with MI6 after the debacle in Rome and quit the organization, and he now acted as Eve's only friend and confidant. Kenny was now working as a journalist for a publication known as Bitter Pill. While working on an investigation, he invites Eve out for a night of drinks to take their mind off their troubles. But when Eve shows up at the Bitter Pill offices to meet Kenny, she finds that he's been thrown off the building and was killed. The official police investigation rules Kenny's death as suicide, but Eve doesn't buy this and teams up with Kenny's Bitter Pill colleagues to figure out who was really behind his death. Carolyn, meanwhile, is struggling in her own way with her son Kenny's death. She's emotionally detached from the situation, which frustrates her daughter Geraldine, who wants her mother to show emotions and grieve. Complicating Carolyn's work life is the fact that her superiors at MI6 are furious over her handling of the mission in Rome and appoint an agent named Paul Bradwell to oversee Carolyn's operations. Carolyn ends up working with Eve and Bitter Pill to look into Kenny's death, and the group discovers that he was close to uncovering secrets about the 12 and had even found that nefarious organization's accountant, a man named Charles Kruger. Before Eve and Carolyn can detain Kruger for questioning, Villanelle arrives and kills him. Villanelle's new handler Dasha grows concerned about the relationship and obsession between Villanelle and Eve and wants to drive a wedge between the two. So she travels to Poland, where Eve's estranged husband Niko was living with his family. Dasha stabs Niko in the throat with a pitchfork and leaves a message to Eve framing Villanelle for the attack. Eve immediately sees through the ruse, and now she and Villanelle both held their own resentments toward Dasha. And speaking of Villanelle, high-ranking 12 agent Helene approves Villanelle's promotion to keeper status, but Villanelle is disappointed to learn the job responsibilities are still the same assassination missions. Disillusioned with her life working for the 12, Villanelle makes plans with Konstantin to run away together and start a new life. Before they depart, Villanelle beats Dasha over the head with a golf club and leaves her for dead. Eve, tracking Villanelle, finds a semi-conscious Dasha who admits to stabbing Niko. Eve steps on Dasha's chest and is on the verge of killing her before changing her mind. As Villanelle and Konstantin prepare to board their train to freedom, Konstantin has a heart attack and is left behind. Konstantin wakes up in the same hospital as Dasha, who dies from the wounds suffered from both Villanelle and Eve. Konstantin is then called to the home of Paul Bradwell, where Carolyn, alongside Eve and Villanelle, confront the two men. Konstantin confirms to Carolyn that Paul was secretly a double agent working with the 12, then confesses to being at the scene when Kenny died. Kenny had discovered that Konstantin might be his real father and was getting too close to uncovering the 12's secrets. Paul wanted Kenny dead, so Konstantin visited Kenny on the roof of the Bitter Pill offices to recruit him to the 12 to protect him. Kenny, scared of Konstantin and the 12, backed away and inadvertently inadvertently tripped off the roof, resulting in his accidental death. Konstantin begs Carolyn for forgiveness as she holds him at gunpoint before eventually turning the gun on Paul and shooting him in the head. Konstantin flees and Eve confronts Carolyn for killing Paul, their only source of information on the 12. Carolyn is resigned to defeat, thinking the 12 were unstoppable. Eve and Villanelle leave and finally have a conversation confronting their true feelings for each other. Both women agree they bring out the worst in each other and resolve to walk away and never see each other again. But as they're walking away, both Eve and Villanelle turn back to face each other, each giving the other a sly smile. And that's everything that happened in the first 3 seasons of Killing Eve to prepare you for the final season. Let me know some of your favorite moments from the entire Killing Eve series so far, and what are you most looking forward to seeing in the final season. Like this video if you found it helpful, subscribe to this channel for more content like it, and that does it for me in this video, but I'll see you in the next one.